so far. This is May 10th. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. If you haven't called your mom yet, or their mom, your grandmother, go ahead and give them a call, right? Man, I can't tell you guys. So this morning, right now, I guess this afternoon, I had some issues at work, some technical problems, and one of our systems, and for some reason, I couldn't log into the root ESXi server, and the past, I think, day, been kind of thinking of scenarios. And what's interesting in my position, as I graduated from a low-level technician to engineer, administrator, and then now head of a department, I'm always thinking of ways of backdooring into things. I guess always having a backup, a contingency plan. Always making sure that whatever decision I make, I have an alternative just in case. If this happens, and it doesn't work out, my audible is this, and I have 2 or 3 audibles, and I'm always able to figure out a way to get around a scenario, get us through that day, and then come up with a new plan for the next couple of days, and then implement it and test it to make sure that I can come up with something easier on the next round, right? So I have me and my team. I create policies and we work together on it and making sure that we implement it and then test, and then we do it. And if it doesn't work out, we do an audible and then go back next week, try it again, do it until we get the right formula. This time, however, this situation, I had no audible. It was just I had to come up with things, and I was like, okay, how do I work around this, and what do I do? And I thought about the differences, right, from an engineer or an administrator to an administrator. It's in that realm. You work very independently as admin, but I think as a head of a department, it's a little bit different because you cannot put the blame on anyone else. As an administrator, I was always able to say, well, if you had this corporate policy that did this. As a head of a department, you have the influence of to be able to communicate with executives, top people, to be able to negotiate these policies as the admin refers that. So those are the differences there. There is no one to blame now, right? When you're in charge of a department or you're in charge of a group, there is no pointing fingers. It's like, hey, I messed up. That's probably the best advice I give anyone trying to get into as you go up the ranks in anywhere. If you're trying to, accountability, that's it. If you're trying to be a basketball player, and I say that because I've been watching The Last Dance. If you guys haven't checked that out on ESPN Plus, you guys should check it out. It's real cool. It's about the Chicago Bulls, the 97 Bulls, and really about Michael and his history. But in any case, accountability for your actions, right? The more accountability you take on your responsibility, I fess up. I made that mistake. How do I improve on it? So with that being said, you have to take a lot more accountability as you take more responsibility as a whole, right? But anyways, this morning I figured it out. I was able to work around all that and got it resolved. So and I just had to take a day, right? Step back a day. Yesterday was my day, which was Saturday the 9th. Was my day that I was actually supposed to study, and actually did not study at all. I drank a little bit on Friday, kind of just relaxed, hung out, and usually that's what we do on Friday nights. And I think I might change that just because it makes it harder for me to study the next day. But plus on top of that, I had this issue in my head. So I had this grogginess from my head. I drank wine on Friday on the 8th. So I drank some wine. I woke up the next day whatever. And then I was like, you know what? I'm not feeling it. And also I have this thing over my head, and I'm kind of just contemplating, and it's just right? Just a lot from work stuff, the work stress that I got. And then that. And so it's like, you know what? I'm going to just have my Saturday be the Saturday I chill. So I did not do any studying, and it put things in perspective, right? When you are studying to do things and you have a plan, always put priority first. So instantly, when I had issues at work, my priority started shifting from studies to work. My priority is now work. It took all of my thought, energy, and everything. So I had once I didn't feel good about studying after I resolved that until I had a plan for it. And then I resolved it this afternoon, and about like 30 minutes ago actually. And then now I'm, I guess, creatively free. I feel like just a big load off my shoulders. Just like my bandwidth increased from like my mental side of things. So now I'm actually feel pretty excited. Now I can read. Now I have this ability to do that now mentally, and just be able to handle it now. So, and when things like that occur, my elective is AWS. My major is networking, CCNP. So whatever time I do have, I want to make sure that I put the energy in the networking side. So if I had to push back the AWS, which I'll probably do some reading and then just push it back to next week. Doesn't matter. Why? Because the AWS is my elective. My priority is always to make sure that I get my CCNP, my NCORE for sure this year. So, and I'm close to that. So I do want to go over what I've done this week, right? So this week I did a lot of SD-WAN stuff, and then wrapped up let's actually take a look. So what I've completed before I even go ahead and just ramble on. So let's boom. So here's my total, how I'm doing pretty much. In my encore, I have, you can't really see, I'm kind of cut off. Maybe I can adjust this a little bit, make myself less important. You know what I'm saying? All right, here we go. See if I can make this smaller. Boom, 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 boom. All right, you guys. And if you're seeing this, if you're viewing this or hearing this in the audible version, what I'm presenting here is a dashboard on my Planner hub, right, on Planner or Microsoft Planner. And I got the NCORE and the AWS practitioner up. I have 57 tasks for the NCORE and then 30 tasks for the AWS left. I have one in progress for the NCORE, which is the chapters. I think chapter 24, network assurance. And then I have completed 9 tasks so far. In AWS, I finished 2. So in AWS is a little weird because I already was in progress, but I don't want to go back and review all the stuff already done. I might do it again. So the planner for AWS is kind of just half-assed. The NCORE is pretty on point. I put a lot of energy in my NCORE, just scheduling wise and all that. Again, because that's my major, AWS is my elective. So we're gonna narrow down into the NCORE board, I guess you could say. So we got the readings here. I wonder if I can do, I guess, progress. Completed. So let's do the completed side. We're gonna start from the bottom up. I think we can do that, right? Well, no, it's not gonna do that. That's weird. Okay, so far what we've done since I've started Planner, I've completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tasks so far, right? And I think that's what I said earlier. Whoops. So from this week for sure, and I'm looking at the high number. That's how I can tell, because unfortunately it's not really telling me when I completed them. It's just telling me that I did it. So that's a downside, at least for like historical purposes. I've completed it, and it looks like I completed it sometime between the 4th and the 5th for the chapter 21. But for this week, I'm almost positive I started doing the wireless network architecture. Yeah, I believe I started, let's look at this. This was on the 4th, chapter 20. And I just started adding the names of it. I haven't been consistent, but I'm going to go back and put all the names on the chapters. Right now I just have chapters. But this week, which was the 4th through the 8th, looks like I completed chapter 20, 21, 22, and 23. So I completed 3 chapters, 4 chapters this week. Right, Fabric Technologies. This was a long fucking chapter, man. Fabric Technologies was super long. It's super detailed. It's SD-WAN and SD-Access for Cisco, and it has a whole lot of key topics that the study guide recommends. So It's one of the chapters that I'm going to be tearing apart. I'm wondering if they're going to have the study guide book for SD-WAN available for the certification like soon, within the next couple months, because I would love to get that book and tear that book apart before I take the encore. But we'll see, right? Because I'm also going to go through the NRC. We'll see how I do with the test, because I'm going to buy a practice test for the NCORE, the Ccnp, and that's something I always recommend. Once I started purchasing these practice tests, I started realizing their importance, right? I was like, why spend it? Sometimes they cost the same. The practice tests sometimes cost the same as the actual test. So I was like, why not just take the actual test? Well, it's because it allows you to see where you're at. Are you ready to take the test or not? And if you aren't ready, and some of these, the one I go with is the Pearson View tests, and so I adjust it. So the one I do go is the Pearson View test, but which is good. But I actually like the boson test. The boson practice tests are actually really, 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 really hard and really good. They allow me to. I was scoring. On the Pearson View, I was getting 85, 95. The bosons, I was always getting 70, 75, and that's pretty accurate to the test where I took the Cisco. That's where I got the route passing score. The score that I got was around 70, 75, which was a fail for them. The passing right now for the route was 790. I don't know what the encore is at this point, but it was more in line with the boson results than the Pearson View test. So I'm actually probably going to buy both. Who knows? Just depends. I'm just super an advocate of practice tests. So this week, again, I passed. I done 4 chapters this week. So one of the reasons why I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus here. It was a big reading this week. So this next week coming up, I have network assurance. I believe it's long as well. And one of the comments I made on Instagram was that I thought that the Wi-Fi, after going through the Wi-Fi was a breeze. Like I went through all of that. I don't think it's going to be very hard. Chapters is like 4 or 5 chapters I have to go through, and I should think that I can write something and cover a lot of that. And I was able to obtain the material very well. The SD-WAN, SD-Access, definitely have to break that down a little bit more. But I was like, oh yeah, like I'm thinking between the chapters of like 19 and 20 to all the way to 22. I was like, oh yeah, like it looks like now it's getting I'm not at the peak anymore. I'm downhill, but then it went down and popped back up again with the fabrics. So fabric technologies, and I was like, damn, like now it's getting more intense again. So it's interesting. I'm going to see how everything pans out, because I do believe the security is a big portion of the test as well. And as well as the book covers a lot of it. But I do have a lot of, I score very well in security. Just because I do like it. It's interesting. I think, I don't know. I don't know if I want to. It's an interesting topic, but at the same time, it doesn't excite me that often. It's like I really want to take the OSCP. I interviewed Rudy here. He's one of my technicians, and he has the OSCP, and I'm super jealous of that. I really want to take that test, but I do respect the dedication for that exam, and I don't think I want to put that energy in there just yet. I do want to tackle the Ccnp. And then during that time, I think I might just go into a high, because they do a lot of web stuff there as well. Web services, penetration on web services and things of that nature. They do have a hierarchy for them as well, like the same thing with CCNA, CCNP, CCIE. For them, they have like different tiers of professionalism and what they attack and the type of attacks that they use. So it's interesting. There is some of the advanced stuff as well that really gets into the engineering side of things and web security. And that's what I'm looking for, just because I think that'll be in line with AWS security. That's one of the things that I would love to do It's just importance of security within systems, and I like the blue team for me. There's one thing that Rudy mentioned in his during the interview that I did with him, was that the blue team was very interesting, like retrieving data and things of that nature and defending. And I think, look, all this is because of money. We're all studying. We're all want to be the best at something. We want to be very highly professional at a specific topic because we want to get paid for it. We want the clout, obviously. We want to be recognized for it, but at the same time, we also want to be able to provide for our families and go out on vacation and just relax and come back and then perfect your craft again and do well and do real cool things. So, I mean, look, like, in my opinion, I think being more on the corporate side, defending corporate entities from attacks will be more beneficial in regards to pay. It's just always is. Companies like an organization like a bank, right? They're gonna want, just adjust this real quick. It's bugging me a little bit. They're gonna want to pay for someone to be able to defend and organize their security like personnel and access to the data and things of that nature. So and be able to recover things when things get attacked or broken into. So that's my aim. You know, I do like that as well, being able to have some big value toward a billion-dollar organization, having those skills. You have a routing problem, a networking problem, they have a security issue, we got breached, and how do we recover from it? How do we prevent it from happening again? What type of policy should we implement? So I really do enjoy that. So that's kind of my aim. But in any case, I'm kind of going off on a tangent here. So this week, I did some work for my employer. And so I had to balance some of that stuff. I think on Friday I spent a few hours at work, went on site and did some things, and it took some time from my studying, but it's okay because what I did was I did one full session. I think it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I didn't exactly time myself, but I was like, let me just wrap up this fabric, which is chapter 23. I didn't want to tackle 24 at the end of the night, but by the time I kind of got home, I was kind of stressing from work. I was like, you know what? Back burner. Why? Because I did a lot of chapters this week, and I don't want to overwhelm myself. I don't want to put a lot more pressure on myself when I didn't need to. I'm already ahead of schedule. I knocked out those 4 chapters I shouldn't have done. I did double what I normally should. I think the week before that, I did 3 chapters. So I'm already 3 chapters ahead. I'm already a week and a half. So if you look at what is in progress here, and let's do this. Due date. So this is how advanced I am so far and how ahead of my schedule. So for this week, that's why I'm kind of leaving the old dates here, because this was the 24th was supposed to be Monday of the 29th. So if you go back here, let's go to the dates here. For this one, for chapter 25, and this for everybody who's on Audible, chapter 25, security, network access control. This is supposed to be started on the 27th, right? This is supposed to be May 27th, supposed to start this chapter. I'm expected to start this chapter May 13th. So I'm already 2 weeks ahead of schedule. All right, chapter 24 of network assurance. This one was the due date was the 25th. 25th was supposed to be before of the security. So network assurance was supposed to be on the 25th. Now I'm bumping it all the way to the 11th, and it's due on the 12th. So I'm already massively ahead of schedule. It looks like if I continue the pace, it looks like I'll have at least 3 chapters this week, 3 chapters next week. For I'll have virtualization on the works already by the 15th. And then after that, it's pretty much 3 more chapters after that. So it looks like I'll be done, even if I'm being optimistic here. Yeah, I'll be working on chapter 29 on June 1st, and I'll be done with that chapter. It's, June 1st, or like if I really want to push it, I'll work it on May 25th to the 29th, and I'll knock it out, and then I'll be done with the book. Right? So this May, I'm expecting to be done with the book in May. So and start my preparations for the test, which is I got here. It's supposed to be create chapter groupings for prep. I'm supposed to have that done, or starting to work on it on. Supposed to have it done on the 17th of June, but I think I'll actually start working on it on the 1st of June or mid-June, and then complete by that weekend, and then start tackling it and actually be able to take the test by the end of June. So instead of July. So I might just start even opening like because in Las Vegas we're already starting to open, so maybe even ready to take the test before I even open up, right? Because we're opening up in Vegas, but we're in stage 1. So casinos are stage 4 for Vegas, and we have this whole staging thing for Nevada on how we're gonna open. Depending on how each stage goes is how long we will be in that stage. If stage 1 goes well and there's not a lot of spread, then we'll happily go to stage 2 and stage 3. But if stage 3 something happens, a prolonged stage 3, we actually go backwards. So it's all very fluid. It just depends on what the progression is for each stage. So people are saying July, right? Some people are saying August. I don't know. All I'm focused is to make sure that I come out of this as positively as possible, whatever I do for my employer, and make sure that I'm progressing there as well as professionally, because this benefits them as well. Like, I'm designing the networks for the arenas that we're opening up and things of that nature. So all these studies, it just helps me. AWS helps some of the stuff that I'm trying to engineer and build out for our things for my employer, and this Encore as well, just how I design and tackle some of the networking side of things. So I installed a proof of concept Palo Alto this week on Friday actually, and then I brought back another proof of concept of FortiGate. So I'm going to set up some VPN things into our arena and just like do some testing that I wanted to do previously. So we're going to be I'm using a lot of these things that I'm learning, and that's something you always got to tackle. If you're trying to get into the field and you're trying to get certified, always tackle things that you, one, enjoy, and two, that'll benefit you. If your company is a cloud dev company and you're desktop support, I would 100% go the AWS route and do the dev. Like that'll be your CCIE. That'll be my CCIE equivalent to your CCIE would be the dev for AWS. If you're in a cloud engineering or software development company, that's what I would tackle. If you are, and then like your electives there would be automated. It would be like Linux and a scripting, which is like something like Python, like JavaScript, things of that nature. Learn and then slowly, and then bring in some networking, understand networking, pop open the CCNA book and just start reading it, learn it, right? That'll be your electives. It will be programming languages, and then it will be networking, and then automation. And then, but your major would be AWS Cloud DevOps. And you start with the practitioner. You don't have to get certified. There's some people that don't get certified in a practitioner and just hop right away into SysOps or solutions architect, and then just go up from there. It's up to you how you want to do it. For me, again, Ccnp is enough of a challenge for me, so I'm gonna just start with the small stuff for the practitioner. So and build out your habits, and then create a study plan around those habits and what works for you, and just like tackle it. I was talking to a coworker of mine this weekend, and he wants to tackle the CCNA. I didn't even know he wanted to tackle the CCNA. I'm like, oh man, that's great. Just let me know if you want to get any advice. He wants to tackle it in 3 months. Totally possible. Is it a lot of work? 100%. If you haven't studied at this type of level before, it's extremely difficult. But it could totally be done. You create habits as long as you're disciplined and you're accountable for yourself, and don't make excuses. You can definitely study, and the goal is again 3 to 4 hours a day. Always tackle the 3-4 hours a day, and you're able to knock these out. And for me, again, it's just because you finished the book one round, it's not over. So that's just step one. For me, it's phase one, right? Just get through the book. 60 to 80% absorption. And then after that, you go ahead and you go back, create your notes, create your study plan, write flashcards, and get that real down. And you're going to get every chapter 100% knowledge. And I might even tackle some RFCs, look up some RFCs. I've been highlighting some RFCs in the book and for references to make sure that I can pull some of the things, consolidate a nice package for myself to be able to study and learn, and to be able to be as informed as possible when it comes into the Ccnp exam. So I really hope you guys appreciate this update. Again, I love this planner hub, this whole tasks thing. It's awesome. It scales very well. I haven't even done a lot of notes, honestly. Right now, I'm just like trying to get through the book. I started doing the notes, and I mentioned this before. Like, I wanted that. It's hard for me just to read all the way. I add the notes, so it adds some flexibility for me. I don't just get bored. So now I'm at to the point where I'm like finished towards the end of the book. I'm like, I'm getting excited to read every time. So I'm allowing myself to kind of step back on the notes. And also, I think I'm doing the approach again differently. I'm going to be using, let's dive into the encore again. It's going to go to sign up by buckets. I'm actually going to, did I do this already? I haven't finished it yet. I'm going to be doing, let's see right here. So compare agent versus agentless or orchestration tools. I'm going to be creating notes per topic. And then once I'm done with the topic, I'm going to actually be completing the tasks. So that's how I'm going to be writing down my notes and doing things like that. So, So that's how I'll be tackling it. And I think that's a proper way for me to develop my notes instead of it just going over the whole chapter. Because I may even refer to other things for the chapter review and for my prep. So I just want to make sure I'm able to cover each topic at its full capacity, and then be able to be as confident as I can, because confidence is super key when it comes to these very big challenging tests. To make sure you're super confident, you don't doubt yourself at all. Everything's just boom, boom, boom. You're knocking out these questions. So reach out to me, leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Follow me on Instagram _ the IT blog, Twitter the IT blog, and my website is the itblog.info. Really appreciate you guys. Peace.